Hello, another fat bearded man talking about records. You can call me Hedley. This is my 7 Deadly Sins contest entry for Andy's Vinyl Den. Andy is one of the stalwarts, I think, of the VC since I became kind of involved about a year ago. He is one of my country music amigos, which is probably why we've connected. I remember I can't remember what his first name was. He went by something 88. Anyway, those were the halcyon days of single figure subscription figures and things like that. But now 400. Wow, 400. That's 400 people that have clicked a little button, gone, I want to listen to this guy again. That's not bad. Anyway. A big shout out to you, Andy. You're one of my favourite guys on the VC. I love watching your videos, even if they're heavy metal. And I thought this was a great idea for a kind of a thread. So kudos to you, mate. And one day, if I ever make it over to the States, I'd love to go digging with you for records. Fingers crossed sometime. Okay, so 7 Deadly Sins. Now, this has been quite tricky, actually. I'm sure everyone would say that. I'm going to sort of... I'll explain as I go along. I won't make it too complicated. Anyway, so the first one, Pride. Now, this is a difficult one, I think, because in choosing a record that you... I know sins are not good, are they? Clearly they're a sin. So it's something that's not generally accepted to be good behaviour. But I think there is something about, I'm not proud to own records. Anyone can go and buy these records. There's nothing proud about it. I haven't really been given anything by, famous people or anything like that. I've got a few signed, but, I don't really care that much about that. And I think what you do is a bit like, I was having a conversation with... I think Jeff and a few others about what we mean when we say that guy has a good taste in music. What we actually mean is I like that guy's taste in music because it's exactly like my taste in music, and therefore it gives me the kind of the feeling that I'm going along the right track, and I'm a trendsetter. Anyway, so I'm rambling on the first one. I can't believe I'm rambling on the first one. This was supposed to be a really fast video. I'm so sorry, Andy. Right, so I thought instead of having an album that I'm proud that I own because I've chosen it, this is an album that represents something for me. And it's Paul Robeson, the glorious voice of Paul Robeson. And this was recorded, Songs and Spirituals recorded between 1931 and 1939. Now, during that period, in 1936, there was the Spanish Civil War, and Paul Robeson was an activist, an important voice against fascism. I got a great quote from him. He said, "The artist must take sides. He must elect to fight for freedom or slavery. I have made my choice. I had no alternative." And he chose to stand against the fascism when a lot of the world was not doing that. And in doing so, he came into contact with my grandmother. My grandmother was a member of various communist-affiliated organisations. She was, in fact, one of... This is going to lose all my American friends. I'm so sorry. My grandmother was the founder of the British Communist Party. And was an activist, and at the time was fighting against the fascism in Spain by organising the International Brigade and organising for children in the Basque areas to be housed in Britain. And they would do benefits together. He came over and he sang at International Brigade events, and my grandmother would speak at them. She would open for Paul Robeson. She was apparently a very good orator and great at getting money out of people as charity. So So I am proud to have this record because he represents the work that my grandmother did during the 1930s and all of her life against injustice. There you are. That's a bit serious, wasn't it? Okay, so Paul Robeson, I'm proud to have this record. Okay, Greed. Which album would I not get rid of? This one's another bit of a kind of a sentimental one. I've shown this before. This is a copy of Stan Kenton's Milestones. This is the earliest record I own. I can't remember. That was another contest. This was owned by my dad. I don't have many records that my dad owned. He didn't have a huge number, but he loved Stan Kenton, and in particular, he loved Peanut Vendor. I think there's the picture of the Peanut Vendor there. And he would sing that song. So since my dad died probably about 11 years ago now, and so this is a kind of a connection to him, clearly. So I wouldn't get rid of this record. Right, what have we got next? Lust, an album I wish I owned. These become difficult. I mean, I've seen some people's responses to this thread, and they are records that cost an arm and a leg. This record doesn't cost an arm and a leg, and I suppose if I desperately wanted it, I could find it and get it. I'm going through a bit of a country funk kind of phase at the moment. Soulful country stuff, country that's being kind of made in Muscle Shoals. You got the brass and the kind of the backing singers that give it that sort of southern soul feel. And one of the artists that I really rate, and there's a couple of albums from his, one I do have, but and this is a guy called Don Nix, and it's an album called In God We Trust. And I think, if I'm clever enough, I will put in a picture of the album cover here. There you go. That was from 1971, and it's not an easy album to pick up in this country, so I would love this album. There's a great tune on it called Golden Mansions. I'm not a religious person. Again, I'm losing some of my my support over in the States, I'm sure. But I have a deep respect for the music of gospel and religious music. And this is one of those records that it just transcends. It's like going to a beautiful cathedral. You know, it doesn't mean anything religiously to me, but it's an impressive and wonderful thing to visit and see. That's Don Nix. Right. Gluttony. Envy. Sorry, Envy. This is an artist or band I wish I was in or was. Now, clearly, if I was in a band, that band would be crap, and so it wouldn't be the band that I would be in. So I wouldn't want to put my crap guitar playing and singing with any other band. So is there an artist I'd like to be? It's a bit weird to sort of say you want to be someone. I suppose someone I respect and somebody who they are, I suppose would be Tom Waits. That I kind of enjoy that beatnik. This is Small Change. This is sort of from '76. This is his sort of boho, low life kind of persona, and I kind of, it's the way he romanticizes the sort of the strip joints and low life juke joints and things like that. That sort of, certainly someone in Britain is very romantic. Dirty but romantic, and then of course you've got him choosing to take a complete shift, and artistically I love that, the idea that somebody could suddenly change direction, and so he represents someone that is unafraid of doing something uncommercial, and he's nearly been going 50 years, and there's few people that can continue to have critical respect for that amount of time. Most bands, artists, they either implode or they just end up on the Las Vegas circuit or become a pastiche of themselves. And Tom Waits is someone who is unique and does what he wants to do. So I would want to be Tom Waits. I wish. I'll be Tom Waits. Okay. Gluttony, a band or artist I can't get enough of. I suppose this is quite difficult. There are sort of artists in the past that I bought everything for, one of which I will show you in a bit. I suppose one band that I buy everything that they release, and I've got a load of sort of tour-only releases, 12 inches, things like that, and that's Calexico. This is their last album, Edge of the Sun. This is from a couple of years ago now. And this, in fact, this shows you the sort of thing. This is not the normal album. This is the deluxe copy of the album that I paid that much more for another side of songs. Calexico, Americana, Tex-Mex kind of, not Tex-Mex, Mexican kind of mariachi influences, sort of Ennio Morricone, that type of thing. Imaginary soundtracks to movies, beautiful stuff, often sung in Spanish. Well, a couple of them are, and yeah. So I will actually in the future. I'm going to do a kind of a rundown of my favourite Calexico albums. So here's a heads up. So Gluttony, I will always get what they release. Okay, Wrath. Who is the benefit of my wrath? Who gets it? There's a lot of hate on the internet, and one of the things I enjoy about the VC is the acceptance and the lack of argument, and so it seems a little bit churlish to pipe in with my own hatreds, and I have many. Oh gosh, don't get me started. I have to hold myself back from attacking every time I see someone mention a specific band on the VC. You don't know how hard it is for me not to make some kind of gesture of dissent that they would dare to even like that band. But I don't. I try not to. And if anyone sees me doing it, call me on it, because I shouldn't be doing it. Everyone has a right to like whoever they are and whatever. But the one person, they're in a band in the 80s, a seminal band, a seminal British band from Manchester, and some people who have seen me before on the VC and maybe had conversations with me might know this. It's Morrissey. I can't stand Morrissey. The Smiths I don't like. I like Johnny Marr's guitar playing. I think Johnny Marr is great. He's a talent. Unfortunately, he connected himself with a no-hoper bedroom poet who thinks he is the bee's bloody knees. Oh my lord. Morrissey is everything I think is wrong with pretentiousness, with victimhood. His singing hurts me. When I hear that whining, just gets me. And then I feel completely justified when more recently he started making really dodgy nationalistic comments, that his politics are just outrageous, I think. So, Morrissey, you can do one. Right, okay. Calm down. Oh my God, yeah, his autobiography, and that was not, his book. He did a deal with Penguin that they had to release it as Penguin Classics alongside Ovid and the great classics of literature, and you've got Morrissey amongst. Stop it. Okay, last one. Sloth, my favourite of the 7 deadly sins. This is name an artist or band that I used to really like, and now I don't really listen to them. And there are a number of artists that I could kind of do this. I was Andy, you bought or you showed Ryan Adams Heartbreaker. There was a time when I bought everything that Ryan Adams put out, but over the years I kind of fallen off the Ryan Adams bandwagon. But a band that I was really into when I was younger, and I bought everything, all the CD singles, every single format, any version of their thing, and it's REM. Now, I'm not saying I don't rate this album, that I don't like it. I do. I think it's a cracking album, and most of their stuff, up until Bill Berry left the band, they seemed to lose something then. But I used to listen endlessly to REM, all of their albums. I would put together mixes in the car to listen to. They were part of my life for a long time, and I can't remember now the last time I put this on or listened to anything. This isn't, I suppose, actually the album really I should show, which I don't have on vinyl, is Out of Time, because I think that represents the kind of the point at which they became part of the establishment of the sort of rock and roll family, as it were. And so from that point they became, ubiquitous. Why do I choose to say these words? A band you couldn't avoid. And I know that James really doesn't like them, the Vinyl Professor. But yeah, anyway, so there you go. Sloth. Yeah, maybe I'll have a listen to it. Okay, there we go. That was much, much longer than I thought it was going to be, mainly due to my rant about Morrissey. I'm sorry about that. If you like Morrissey, if you must. So Andy, thanks for putting these together. I think it's a great idea for the 7 Deadly Sins. Those were my 7 Deadly Sins. I'm going to go away and kind of, maybe I'll indulge in a little bit of sloth. Okay, bye for now.